How interesting. A human unfettered by Maito's incessant dabbling. Nice to meet you. And welcome. You're our newest member, I heard. Interesting. Sometimes I wonder if you're worth it. The last one that Maito brought was anything but. You see, we're an interesting bunch of fellows. There's a lot to us. A lot of things that most people don't take for granted, nor do they understand, because they can't. We're a very special group of people with special needs. We are the new humans. Is what I'd like to say, but it's also simpler than that. We all have our own goals, our own aspirations, things we need to do. Of course, some of us more innocent than others. I consider myself more along the innocence line than the others. Maito needs to get back in line. Kidding. You take things too serious. Why don't you loosen up a bit? There's many ways this conversation could go, and many things you could do, but the more I look at you, the less fun you seem to be having. Why? You have two different ways and choices, paths before you. Let the monk tell you. Well, what I am doesn't matter. However, what you are matters greatly. We need to iron out the details of our plans, of our incessant violence against the exorcists, against those who wish us harm. They're acting all high and mighty, but this is more a war of self-defense, and there's less of us than them. Less of us in the greater scheme of things, who are embodiments of aspects. Things like Maito. Things like me. I lost myself to the dark arts of varying degrees. I am more ancient than you probably realize. Despite my youthful appearance, thank you. I do take such good care of my skin, priming it daily. Well, there's a lot going into it. You like my skincare products? I'd share them with you. Look at you. Already getting along with me. Now let's see if you have enough interest in your work. What can you offer? Please, you can use this busy street as a display. Go ahead. Show me something. Something that would make someone's toes curl or wince in disbelief. Or maybe something that you like to say is your signature, to let those exorcists, those who wish us harm, know exactly where we are. Do you catch my drift? It's all a game of cat and mouse, though they think they're the cat, but in reality they're the mouse. Set a trap. That's in layman's terms, but I prefer make some art, do something fun, recreational activities. You know I do so like days on the beach, playing soccer. Ask Jogo about that. It'll be an interesting story, I'm sure. Wow. Not much of a shower, huh? You're just going to do that? Planting seeds. What are you, Anami? No offense to Anami, but not my style, not right now. Interesting. Something different, you say. Oh. Oh. Now that's interesting. That might be right up my alley. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. All those guts and gore, people rupturing from the insides out, turning them into monsters, kind of a hint of Maito in there. Still, Interesting. If I do say so myself, good job. That'll garnish some attention, a human tree, made of their flesh and gore still kept alive. Beautiful. I don't know what else to say. You've got an artistic side to you, and I think that piece might be good enough for the museum. I might just take it home with us. The dark arts do so love their artistic side. Don't you think? Of course, you could see it two different ways, couldn't you? The serious way, or the less than serious way. What will they do when faced with the cries of help? The exorcists seeing their former civilians tormented in an undeath, but not quite life. Still alive as entrails. No, I don't want to focus on too much of the nitty-gritty of it. But let's just say you impressed me. Now, let's see if they fall for the trap. If we do this right, we might get some good specimens. And then we might be able to do something even more fun, like turn them against each other. With your little power there, we might be able to do something really big. Well, the others will certainly be impressed, and I think you'd do Maito proud. And my personal interest is intrigued. You used to be human and you do all these things. How do you feel about that? What a good answer. It's almost as though you don't care at all. You don't feel anything. An unfeeling monster, but at the same time, the art expresses feeling. You feel something, don't you? Something wonderful. But I'm not going to tell any more details until it's... Oh, how interesting. Your use of the exorcism arts mixed with the dark arts. It's truly intriguing. You snared them in their own intentions, trapped them in their nightmares, and made them cry for their mother's milk. You're pretty good at this. I see why you were recommended to be a part of our mostly elite group of curses and, well, those of us with dark secrets. See? Up here. Yeah. Now that you've successfully led some prominent exorcists to their end, I think you deserve a reward. Want to go to my beach villa? I want to get to know you more on a personal level. Work is fun and all. Art, more fun than that. But if I were to say one thing that's the most fun, it's getting to know people and those around you, curse or not, former human or not. We're all equals based on our representation, our contributions, our everything that we put forward. Wouldn't you say? It's all a fun little game. Until someone gets hurt. Now, before the bigger fish come and we get into a sticky situation, let's be the mice that escape through the small hole in the wall. Have you ever watched that show, Tom and Jerry? It's a classic, really, but sometimes I watch it because it's oh so like us. We are the Jerry to their Tom. They think they're in control, but always end up on the back foot. That's why I like this organization. We know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, and they don't have a clue. Deception is such a fun little game of chess, don't you think? But of course, the fun isn't just there. You have to have a life outside of work, and I, for one, pride myself on my myriad of recreational activities, and yet numerous ways of entertaining guests, friends, and everyone of the sort. I want you to entertain me. I'm so interested in seeing what you can do. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, you're interesting to me already. But the more you get, The more you do, the more you say, the more intrigued I end up. Perhaps I've fallen down your rabbit hole. But if I have, consider yourself lucky. Though I'm supremely conflicted, I almost wish you were human so I could experiment on you, make you better. But you've long since given that up, haven't you? That's not the soul of a human. That's the soul of something much better. I like it. The darkness in your heart. But then there's that innocent side. I wonder how you hold that side so close. How you're able to, with what atrocities you know you do, justify it, to have that twisting mix of light and darkness. You're truly the heinous type, a psychopath. I wonder, where does that darkness and light meet? What's your end game in all this? Intrigue me. Oh, so it's not another revenge story. Thank goodness. I've heard way too many of those lately. Revenge, crying out because humanity created you to do one thing and one thing only, making a big deal out of old grudges, being old. Yeah. Do me a favor. Look at me. Yes, just like that. Your cheeks are healthy. Good. You might need some more fruit in your diet. What? You have to take care of that skin complexion, don't you? Beauty is half the law of this world. And looking good can be another weapon you can use in battle, but that's just the practical means. Doesn't it feel fucking awesome to look badass? Doesn't it feel amazing to be the person who people look at with envy? I might just be using this body, but I still take pride in it. It's like my prized possession right now. One of the best exorcists of all time. My little host here. Well, it would be a stretch to call a host at this point, but it's different. Now, putting aside work, what do you like to do? And don't tell me torturing humans is all you've got. God, that would be so boring. No, not flowers like economy, so... So that's it. Interesting, people watching. I do too. Sometimes we'll go to the diner, get ourselves a burger or two, burn everyone alive. I know Mahito must have told you about that one. He wasn't there for it, but it didn't matter. He didn't need to be. That story got around and... You don't need to twist a soul in order to twist a knife. Surely you know the intricacies of what it takes, what every little detail leads to. All things are like on a chessboard, but the more you focus on each and every move, the further behind you fall. How do you feel about that? If I hadn't known any better, I'd say your hobbies are kind of boring, but the gaming does interest me. You want to play some games? What's your favorite one? I kind of like RPGs, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why? Because you get to finally play the other role. See the world through the eyes of the hero, right? And you get to win and conquer and pretend to be a self-righteous, pitiable fool. But it doesn't mean you can't do good things too. Sometimes I'll take care of humans. It might be for ulterior motives sometimes, but other times they're kind of like pets. I do think if we do initiate the plans we've set in motion, I want to keep some as pets. Give them good lives. Live a double life and make them conflicted. But at the same time, just because it's not like I don't have a heart or anything. It's more like humans are toys for us. If you happen to break them, that can be fun. But some of them you want to keep. And I admit, your appearance, it intrigues me. You might be the most human-like among us. You could blend in, if not for a skilled exorcist, seeing what you truly are behind those doughy eyes, those soft lips, those intriguing little expressions, teetering on innocent and feigning despair. You have a lot of layers to you, and I kind of like it. It's sexy. I know I keep overusing the word intriguing, but what else can I call you? You're like an oxymoron in a human's form. The deepest, darkest pit of darkness. And then some innocence in there that would make a baby look like a sinner. Interesting. You are attractive, I said it. What, are you going to look at me funny now? I'll just toy with you more if you do. You should know I break my toys, usually. But you might be one worth keeping, even if you're my captive audience, because you are my colleague. Work relationships in this field are oh so encouraged. I mean, why not? Maybe we could work together and make a new curse so great it wipes out half the world. Wouldn't that be something? I want a legacy, and maybe it's through you. Is that what you expected me to say? No. As much as it sounds fun, playing games with you sounds more fun. Isn't it fun to waste the time? God, I said it a lot. Sometimes I wonder if my vocabulary's slipping into the old ways, or if I'm just stumbling on my words, because I want you. And if it's the truth, what would you do? Good reaction. If I'm not so certain of things, then it's more interesting, right? I don't have some kind of future sight, like some seem to. Instead, I play it small move by small move, making sure there's some vulnerabilities and fun in there. If you don't have a weakness, you can't be a villain. Then you're just a bully, right? What do you think my weakness is? It must be written all over my face. Because there's things I just can't give up. This modern world is so interesting. There's things that even if I could destroy, I wouldn't. In fact, this place over here, I want them to continue making games because it's so intriguing. And that's where the humans misunderstand. I don't care if I have to kill everyone else in our group, eradicate them like they're swine to the slaughter. Because if they go against me, if they go against what I believe in, well, as much as I like creative differences, as much as it festers and proves to be something constructive most of the time, it means I'll win. Even if I take some losses, because where's the fun if you don't? What do you think? Sound intriguing yet? All of this is because I don't necessarily hate humans, unlike some of them. I don't want the end of the world exactly. I just want my world, my control, the humans as my pets, and I as their god. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Of course, a god that interacts in humanity, doing acts of heinous crimes and glorious miracles. Sounds to me like a lot more fun than just being some cauterized black and white villain. Isn't it better to be something of a middle sort? That's why you intrigued me so much. I was once human. At least, sort of. If you could call me that. Then again, so was Sukuna. So, we all have our dark history. Though I think in that department you might be lacking just a slight bit. You've got your establishing villain arc, but it's not very fleshed out. Tell me more. Why do you want the world to fall to curses? Why are you such a heinous criminal? Why are you so innocent? You honestly think it's the future? Oh. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're so right. We do so have a lot of overlapping ideals. I like it. But also, we clearly don't see things in the same light. I like it. I like it a lot, and I like you a lot. So what I'm going to do about it is suggest something just as crazy as we might be viewed. Why don't we, just saying, throwing it out there, why don't we become something just a little more? Yes, simply put, will you go out with me? Oh, your face is classic. Shock. Oh, could that be a tinge of embarrassment? Your eyes drifted to the side, roughly 30 degrees. You tried to hide it, but were unable to. So you're that kind. It's so cute how you think I wouldn't notice these things. I'm sorry, darling, but it's about 200 years too soon for you to trick me, fool me with subtleties. I've been watching human expression for all of my existence, and you still react very much human. And don't get me wrong, it's nothing against you, nothing even slightly. In fact, I think it makes you more attractive. I'll teach you the ropes of many different things, and perhaps of how to truly fall into the range of good and evil at the same time. That's the best. Maybe your games will teach me something too. Which ones do you want to play first? I am so interested. So you're like me. You like games where relationships play a role. The psychology. Do you know how many good books there are on that subject? Human psychology is fascinating. It's also, in part, why we exist. So it's sort of like reading our own history through them. Isn't it intriguing to think about? Dancing atop the tongues of our enemies and friends, all at once our creators and those who wish to unmake us. Poetic justice, poetic ideals, but even then, we just want to get even, don't we? Our motives may seem feathery, pleasant, interesting, but at the same time, it's all so storied. We're just another race, stepping on another one, playing God. But where's God then? If he isn't acting to save them, he must see us as the chosen ones. Or maybe, just maybe, he doesn't exist. And then we're meant to play that role. And even if he does, I challenge him and gladly be struck down right here and now. Because it would be an interesting story, don't you think? I want my end to be one of my choosing. I want my life to burn out like the fireworks that the humans celebrate every year. Like a festival in bloom, instead of a festering wound. And to anyone who says no to me, too bad. You, my dear, are quite the enigma. But more than an enigma, you're such a fun waste of time. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of each other. In work and out of work, of course. Though, even if it was during, well, you have a lot to learn of things. And I have a lot to teach, but I think we could teach each other many different things. You from a more humanistic approach, because you were until recently. Until your soul was twisted like that. It's strange that you are given so much power. You must be the embodiment of something you didn't even know. Perhaps it's that happy medium, just like me. It doesn't matter though, does it? Because the ends justify the means no matter how we get there. Nobody cares if someone killed millions to get to a place that's happy. Nobody cares about the sacrificed lives of random pedestrians that they don't even know. Strangers are strangers for a reason, because humans themselves determined this. Our very moral system is based on them. Yet they claim we are the villains. We have no morals. We have no soul. But I would argue they're the one lacking it. They're the ones who want to demonize us when they gave birth to us. Like a child being shunned for being born. And yet even then I can't resent them, because we would do the same thing to them, no doubt. We're all guilty sinners. The only difference is I'm a sinner so good at sinning that I want to be the god of it. And by looks of it, you might be the sinner who thinks they're innocent, who has a very real innocence about you. And that's why I think us dating would be interesting. Who cares about the details? What matters is, we're both the victims here, right? The victims and the perpetrators. What you did back there, the screams, the tormentuous art, could be seen as heinous, make you a psychopath, numerous other slanders, but I think the art is underrated. And right now, even if it seems like I'm a stick in the mud, I'd rather be a stick in the mud right beside you. There's some romance in it, don't you think? Romance and poetry. Words meaning more than just they do on the surface. As if they've been given life of their own. One of the intricacies that I seek more than anything is to make people feel, regardless of the outcome. I'm not going to say I'm blind to their misery, nor am I going to say that I'm not the cause of it. The main difference being that I embrace the agony I cause, just like I embrace the good that I've done too. Probably no one else will see it, because I purposefully make it two sides of the same coin. I'm only sharing this with you because you're the only one that I've met that I think could appreciate that coin flip away of good and evil all mixed into one, that flavor you can only get when you see the true smiles of the innocent and the true cries of them losing it. Both things are so satisfying, don't you think? Then it's settled. I guess that makes me your temporary or maybe permanent other half. Your boyfriend? An interesting sound to it. Curses dating. What would the humans think? They would think it's an abomination. And something about that fact just makes it so more buttery sweet. So sweet and perfect because they wouldn't know how to feel. I wonder what expression they would have, don't you? It would be such a satisfying one to witness them unsure of what to do because it's something unheard of. But what's more, what if two curses become one? Not in a melding, but breed to make another. Not in that crude human way, but in a connection. A conception based upon intention. A love that literally blooms into something new. That wasn't my intention from the start, is what I would say, but it was one of the things I was thinking. How drastically similar but different we are. Makes me truly excited for the future. Now, speaking of the crude humans, isn't there something crude about theirs that you like? You're so cutely sinister. Just look at those fangs on you. I want to look at them a little closer and get to know you more intimately. As crude as humans may be, I think we could learn a few things from them, even if those things are steps in reverse. Who cares? I'd gladly lose the match for an attempt at making something more viciously interesting. What do you say? My human-like curse, or my curse-like human, whichever it is, you are now mine. Oh, shall I repeat it a few times? You're mine, you're mine, you're mine. Of course, this is something that you yourself seem to be so aware of